The IOPC is reinvestigating the use of force used by Warwickshire Police against a man who died on the 19th of July 2017. Darren Cumberbatch is said to have had contact with Warwickshire Police on the 10th of July in a bail hostel in Nuneaton. The IOPC say that the move to reinvestigate was prompted by significant new information emerging and the conclusion that the original investigation was materially flawed. The original investigation, which was mandatory due to Darren dying after contact with police, examined the use of force on Mr Cumberbatch by police officers, both at the bail hostel and upon arrival at the hospital. At the end of the investigation in 2018, it was concluded there was no indication that any officer may have breached the standards of professional behaviour or that they had a case to answer for misconduct. What a surprise. But an inquest into Darren's death was held in 2019 and that concluded his death was drug related, with the jury also concluding that police restraint contributed to his death, that there were serious failings by attending police officers and that some of the force used on the 10th of July may have been excessive and probably avoidable. The IOPC released a statement on the 28th of July this year in which they said, following representations made by Mr Cumberbatch's family, it had reassessed whether it needed to reinvestigate the matter. We have carefully considered the evidence given at the inquest and have now decided in respect of the officers' use of force at the hostel, which included use of taser, pava spray, punches and baton strikes in confined toilet area, does require reinvestigation by the IOPC. The reinvestigation will include examining the officer's use of force on Mr Cumberbatch at the hostel when he was unwell, to what extent officers recognised he was suffering from acute behavioural disturbance, and their decision to enter and to forcibly remove him from the hostel toilet area. Director of Major Investigations at the IOPC, Steve Nuneaton, said the compelling reasons are that the original investigation was materially flawed in a manner which had an impact on the subsequent decisions made on discipline, performance and or referral to the Crown Prosecution Service, and or there is significant new information that requires further investigation. There must be a real possibility that the new information, had it been available, would have led wholly or partly to different decisions on the outcomes of our investigation. Lastly, it must be considered necessary to require a reinvestigation in the public interest. In this case, after careful assessment, we assessed a focused reinvestigation into the officers' decision-making and use of force during their interaction with Mr Cumberbatch at the bail hostel, and is necessary in the public interest. Those who have been closely impacted by our decision, including Mr Cumberbatch's family and the officers involved, have been notified. Darren's family have said that they welcome the new investigation and the IOPC's recognition the original investigation was flawed 5 years after he died. His sister Carla said, "We told the IOPC that their original investigation did not consider key issues, including whether containing Darren or de-escalation could have been an option, justification for the use of force, and the veracity of claims that officers felt threatened by Darren. There was also no consideration of what explanations from police were given at the time, compared to what was later said in interviews, and whether there are implications for the credibility of officers' evidence. I will carry on my fight for justice for Darren," she said. Well, I bet that was a hard pill for the IOPC to swallow. Just like the police themselves, they never enjoy being proven wrong, but then that's probably because the IOPC is made up mainly of ex-coppers who have all got an ego and hate being shown up. Although I guess it's easier for the IOPC to deal with this, as they will simply blame the police rather than themselves for a ballsed up investigation. When further information comes out about this reinvestigation, I shall let you know what they say about the police constables who had contact with Darren before he died.